Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and welcome to NerdTube. I'm here with Boss Man, also known as Gary. Don't swing both ways. How you doing, my son?
I'm all right.
Very good. And of course, me, Variant Zam. Now we're going to be talking Loki episode 3, season 1. About to say season 3, but it's Lamentis is the name of the episode. Both myself and Boss Man have seen it, and we're going to quickly be talking about it. First of all, Boss Man, how did you find the overall episode, mate?
It was it was a typical middle episode that not a lot happened, but stuff that moved the plot forward happened. If you know what I mean,
Yeah.
so enough to change context. Because I mean, from what you were saying last week, this is only like 6 episodes, so you can feel that they're in a rush all the time. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if much got done in this episode, and we got a couple of revelations, so to speak. But overall, I didn't think too much was portrayed in this episode regarding story development. But we definitely got what we got. What we definitely got out of this was character development, and that was of the Loki variant of Sylvia. I did like how the episode began because at
I think
first,
Sylvie, I think.
say again.
Sylvie, I think. It's not Sylvie. It's Sylvine.
Sylvie. My bad. Yeah. I did like the way how it began initially with her having a chat with that TVA agent, mind controlling her and so on. I was kind of surprised that Sylvie is British as well, the actress who plays her. But then again, so is Tom Hiddleston, so it kind of makes sense. And I wanted to see a little bit more of this episode regarding the sort of the time grenade crisis that she kind of began from the second episode, but we never really got to see this. Now I've had a lot of time to think, but I never mentioned this in in the review I did earlier. But I do feel that we're going to see, like how like all these branching timelines are appearing, and they're possibly going to be touching each other and passing each other. Well, at first I thought maybe once Loki and Sylvie got stuck on that planet because they couldn't get to the Ark, that space station, to send them off, I thought to myself, yeah, probably Morbius is going to come in, save the day, everyone's happy. But now I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I think a branching timeline is going to collide with that timeline, and maybe the planet doesn't blow up. What do you think of that as a theory?
Well, considering they deal with time travel, could be a good plot. I mean, it could be that, as I said, that what she wants to happen is that maybe there's something that she can't have her own existence until the time agency doesn't exist anymore. Because again, she's not supposed to exist in the form that she does. The thing is that they're always going to try and get rid of her. So,
and how did she exist in the first place?
Well, I mean, when a man and a woman love each other very much, they tend to have children, and in that children you can come out male or you can come out female.
Yeah, but how does she's a variant, dude? How does she exist?
Because she's a variant of that came out as a female, not a male.
But there must have been a change in the timeline for that to happen. When did that happen?
But when Loki was conceived, I assume.
Yeah, but what made the time change? What made look we see variances happen. For instance, we saw that the Loki we have now is a variance because of Avengers Endgame. We understand why he is a variant. We still don't understand why Sylvie's a variant. It's all good going about the birds and the bees, but we still don't know why she's a variant, like the way Loki's a variant. But
maybe that's why she wants to get rid of the time agency or whatever, because
I agree there. I agree with the fact that because she is a variant and she's kind of expendable in that sense. I do agree that she's probably trying to save her own skin by taking over the TVA or destroying. Oh, excuse me, it's quite late at night. By destroying the TVA. I mean, I did like the fact that when we saw her in the TVA, she had no powers. Did you notice that? Because she tried to do an enhancement.
Yeah, because the TVA doesn't exist because you can't have powers in the TVA because the TVA nullifies your powers.
Yeah, exactly. But she never realized that until she was there I'm not sure if you realized that too. She noticed that because she tried to do an enhancement, didn't work. Next thing you know, she has to do some ass kicking instead. And this is the kind of thing that surprised me as well, because during the course of this episode, we see both Lokis having to get physical with human beings, and the fact that they are, even though they're superior, the fact that they are even having to struggle against human beings is a bit of a joke, because they're fucking supreme being aliens with super strength and super abilities. In Loki's case, he's got fucking illusions as well. In Tom Hiddleston's Loki's case, so why the hell are they struggling? I mean, like, Loki got flopped around like a bitch by Hulk. Yeah, so why the hell is he struggling against a fucking human? You know what I mean? Go on, you want to say something?
No, I was going to say, like, well, this seems to be more of a character setup, because they were talking about relationships. They were talking about the reason for the fact that they both swing the both ways. It's like,
yeah, that's not a big deal for me. I mean,
well, it's not for me either. But the internet has basically exploded because of this thing. It's like, oh no, it's like, look, it's gay. It's like, okay, who cares? Why does it matter? Because the internet doesn't take the who cares path.
Really? I've picked up on you know what? I wanted to wait for Bobby for this, because honestly, I'm on Twitter and all that shit all the time, and I don't think stuff like that was, from what I saw, was that big a deal. I'll tell you what people were talking about. Is Loki and Sylvie going to get it on? You know what I mean?
Is that going to be incest? Doesn't, I don't know.
Yeah, that was the question I was going to ask, because if you fuck yourself, is that incest? Yeah, I mean, if Loki and Sylvie,
well, it give onanism a different turn than it usually does.
Well, if Loki and
yeah, because when they get very close together, I thought there's like some sort of like romantic spark between them.
There is definitely a little bit of chemistry there. I give you that.
It might be that actress and Tom Hiddleston have that chemistry naturally, anyway.
Well, Tom Hiddleston seems to have a lot of chemistry with the female members of the MCU. There's a great picture sort of meme out there with him hobnobbing with everybody. You know what I mean? Even Haley Atwell, who plays Peggy Carter. I mean, like, what the hell? I mean, them two never met, in my opinion. But yeah, there he is. There's a picture of her and him together. But nevertheless, the idea of both Lokis getting it on with each other sounds fascinating. At the same time, if they had a kid, would it be a proper freak of nature? Because it would be pretty much the same DVA.
Don't think like that. I bet your head explode.
Joffrey Baratheon Part 2. You know what I mean?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
But I thought we got more, as I said, understanding of where each one's coming from. Because again, Loki, the one we're following, isn't really supposed to exist in the form that he is. And yet, as I said, I'm glad that we're getting it, because Tom Hiddleston, as I said, like, when he's doing that Irish dance thing, or whatever it was, Swedish dance, I assume, because
he was doing some Nordic thing for sure, because they're seeing the point of Scandinavian gods, and from I picked, it's definitely something Nordic, which was interesting. But anyway,
yeah. So
you were saying?
Yes, I was just saying, like, when they start to have a fight and stuff like that, it's like, it's real Loki that's causing the problems and stuff like that, and like, she's often exacerbated by him, I think.
Did you find it weird they don't have the same powers, even though they're kind of the same person?
Well, no, because she's a female variant of him.
Yeah, but they're still Loki. I mean, they're both frost giants and all that shit. They both learned their magic. I don't know. I mean, in a way, apparently Loki learned his magic from his mum, and all of that. But she never did. But I'm kind of surprised. I mean, I like the fact that they haven't got the same powers, because during the course of this episode, they had to combine their abilities of illusion and entrancement, which was pretty cool, like they did with the security guards.
So do you think that she's going to be the Enchantress?
I don't know about that.
Because it would fit the powers fit.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know, but I do think this. I don't think she's the big bad of this show. I still think it's to do with the TVA. I still think they're the villains of this. A bit like how Sword was like kind of the villains in WandaVision. I do think the TVA will be the big bad, but I also think at the same time that Loki himself will be at a crossroads regarding what he wants to do. But at the same time, Loki's also very selfish, so he might just think about what he wants. It's gonna be interesting. It's fascinating following a character who can turn on a dime. It really is, making him the protagonist. I was a bit gutted though that we got no Morbius in this episode. Were you?
Well, again, I see that they're still trying to catch up with where they've got, because they've got no way of actually finding where they are. So,
well, I mean, yeah, also like in order to get Sylvie some more character development, I guess Morbius was kind of sacrificed in this, but we followed these two throughout the whole episode from beginning to end. No subplots during the course of this episode as well, which I did notice, and it was also 10 minutes shorter than the last two episodes. Did it feel shorter to you? Because it was only 42 minutes long when it should have been 50. When the last two episodes have been over 50 minutes.
Well, again, I didn't mind the short of it because he gave it a much faster pace. So when they're going on about the planet coming into theirs, you and they're talking about like taking away the power source and all this sort of stuff. It's just like it made it more immediate. That in fact there's much more. I mean, as I said, I didn't mind the character development so much. As I said, when they were going towards that spaceship to get off, and then like he just totally blew up. I was just like, oh.
Well, this is the problem when they show too much in trailers, because we've already seen scenes which have been shown in trailers that we haven't seen in this show, and so like we saw Loki dressed up like he's running for office or some shit like that, and we haven't seen that yet in this show, but we saw it in the trailer, so it gives us an idea that maybe Loki will live. What would be really fascinating is if this Loki dies and then we follow a different Loki from like the presidential Loki, follow him instead. I doubt they'll go down that route because they've invested too much in this variant to just discard them just like that during the course of this show. But it will be interesting to see what they do in the next episode and how they get out of their pickle. So what do you think of Sylvie? How are you feeling? How are you feeling about her?
Well, as I said, I've got a feeling that she's going to be the Enchantress because her powers look like the Enchantress. She uses green like the Enchantress. She dresses in green, and I think that Loki's going to say or do something that's going to annoy her to make her that. Because the Enchantress that we see from your Marvel comics.
Okay, I mean, Lady Loki is a character within Marvel comics as it is. She's part of actually Norman Osborn's evil version, or like Dark Avengers, I believe. So there's a place for her there as well. I just don't know much about her. Like, even though she was given a chance to flourish in this episode, she's still a bit of a mystery. So it will be interesting to see where they take her.
As I said, it could be that with the situation she's got on now, she becomes part of the main storyline. Oh, here's the cheetah.
Yeah. Can you hear us, mate?
I can hear you guys.
Okay, Cheetah, what did you think of this episode?
Hello? Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Oh, his mic muted for a start.
I think he said that.
No, his mic's muted. Mic's muted.
Oh my God! Did you hear Loki might have had a prince? What?
I don't know.
See, I told you. I told you everyone's going mental about the fact that Loki's get by on Twitter. Everybody's going mental about it.
Mate, I'm on Twitter. I didn't see any of that, man. I was spamming my bloody video, my YouTube video, once I made my review. to everything which was Loki related on Twitter. I was like putting it in every fucking message. Yes, everyone's going to be getting that. I didn't see shit. All I saw was people talking about things like, I mean, the biggest revelation for me was the fact that the TVA officers are variants. That was massive. And I called that, didn't I? Do you remember that? I was the one who called that maybe 2 weeks ago, that they could be variants. And they are, because initially when we came across the TVA officers and the guy who doesn't know what a fucking fish is said that his whole existence has been behind a desk, I initially thought that the TVA guys were just created by the timekeepers to be office, jobs and pencil pushers. But that wasn't the case. I think these people have been plucked out of time as variants and put in within the TVA. This is fascinating. Yet they don't have a memory of their past.
Or they're just variants that have, like Loki, have come, proved their usefulness, and then maybe they wipe their brain. But then, like they wipe their brain, and so they don't remember their previous life. They just think they've been there the whole time.
Yeah.
And then, like with Loki, I mean, he's going to, in the end, he's either going to fake his death or he's going to get away so he won't have his mind wiped. But that, I mean, that was a solid theory, Sam. I mean, I agreed with you when you said.
Well, here's what I think is going to happen, and this is just my theory ticket as such. I think that what they're doing at the moment is going to make a solid timeline that they become part of the Sacred Time Force. They become part of the Sacred Timeline. So, sorry, I will stop it with the Southern American accent. I just, every time I say the Sacred Timeline, I have to say it in that accent. I'm sorry.
Like Ms. Minutes.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
I think because the way, as I said, her parents remind me of the Enchantress.
No, and I heard that because I had it going as I was wrapping up dinner and everything, and I don't think so, because Sylvie, the name Sylvie, is actually a alternate version of Loki in the comic book. It's the female version of Loki in the comic books, or the alternate version, or something like that. So I think it's actually a Loki variant. I think it's just a Loki variant that was a female. I don't think it's Enchantress. Or they may just merge some of the Sylvie and Enchantress characters from the comic book, like they did with Hela, because they merged a bunch of characters together with Hela. But I don't think it's just flat out like it's going to be revealed that she's Enchantress. But I could be wrong.
Hela has, come to think of it, Hela had Hela Loki vibes. Come to think of it, and yeah.
Yeah, anyway. And she's not even related to Loki.
Yeah, well, he's adopted. I was talking to Bossman earlier, and you can see the chemistry between the both variants. And I was thinking, do you think they'll get it on? And if they do get it on, is that incest?
No, it's masturbation.
But
you're pleasuring yourself with yourself. I mean,
all right, fine, yeah, but you can't bloody impregnate yourself. He could possibly impregnate.
I mean, look, back in the old medieval days, I mean, they jump at that opportunity. I mean,
the point is that if he bangs,
especially in Europe, or especially
if Loki banged Sylvie, got her up the duff and made her pregnant, would their kid be a proper freak of nature like Joffrey Baratheon?
No.
They have the same DNA. You know what I mean? You got to diverse that gene.
How do you know they have the same DNA? Just because they're the same version. Like there's also like quantum signatures between different dimensions and stuff like that. Like I'm just saying, like I don't know if their DNA has to be exactly identical. It's just I don't know. I mean, I don't care. Did I not put it in the comments?
I couldn't imagine those two banging because I mean there would just be a fight for who's on top.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to watch.
When
did this turn into like a the Loki porn session?
Well, that's the thing I did see on Twitter. Yeah, was the fact that both these Lokis, there was definitely chemistry there. You know what I mean? And it's like almost we shouldn't be attracted to each other because we're the same fucking person. You know what I mean? And you couldn't help but notice that. And even during the course of this episode,
demigod problems. #.
Eventually, Sylvie kind of started to trust Loki a little bit by explaining some of the powers that she has and her past. And the relationship she had with Frigga. Is that Frigga?
Frigga.
Yeah.
Frigga.
Like she like whilst Loki learned a lot of things from her, including the powers he has. she never knew her. Little things like that. So but yeah, do you like the fact that they have different powers? Like he's an illusionist, she brainwashes people.
I mean, that's fine. Like, it just depends on when their timelines varied from. See, here's the thing: if there's no multiverse, then no, I guess it's a variant. So if we're in the sacred timeline, what did this Loki do to change his gender? I mean, did he just shapeshift into a woman and he can turn back to Tom Hiddleston Loki anytime she wants? Or is it because there's two different things going on here, it seems like. There's multiverse, where it's like, okay, this is a separate Loki from a separate timeline. But at the same time, it's like, okay, did this Loki get taken because she was a girl and Loki was supposed to be a boy? You know what I mean? Like, it does. There's questions about the multiverse and the sacred timeline and this whole thing that I have questions about. And I feel like this episode convoluted the whole thing even more, unfortunately.
Bossman came up with a very good theory of one of the reasons why she wants to destroy the TVA is because they want to destroy her, because she's a variant. Makes sense to me. But
I mean, that's kind of a given, I thought.
But we still haven't figured out how she was created and why she was created, because
I told you what my theory was. Is that again, like when Loki's parents banged, she was the female.
The boss man, she's a fucking variant, man. There's been some hiccup in time to create it. Do you understand? It's time travel, mate. Obviously when people bang, you're gonna fucking procreate. But in this particular case, she was created. She shouldn't be. There should be one timeline only. But she's a variant, so she's from a different timeline. So how the hell was she created? What made this? What is, as Cheeto said, is she still our Loki? But just you decided to be he decided to be a female. And
that would be a bit questionable.
But that's what I'm saying. We got two different things going on here. We got the timeline, and then because where did the timeline vary for her Lady Loki? Like, where did it vary? Because as I said, if she's always been a female, then it would have been at birth. But then how? I mean, why didn't the TVA just step in and wipe female Loki and then replace it with the male Loki, and set the charge? Like, it's not like female Loki or Lady Loki could defend herself when she's an infant. So when did she, like, is one episode all of a sudden she's going to be like, you know what, I'm going to be you for now on, and then she's going to turn into Loki just because that's her original form, or not? We don't even know if Hiddleston is the original version of Loki.
He's a variant.
But that's what I mean.
But no, not because originally his skin is blue, because he's originally from where the frost giants are from.
He's a frost giant, but I mean, like, prior to, like, there's been manipulation of time with the time stone, but prior to Avengers Endgame, I don't think there was ever actually proper time travel where people went back to a different period and created alternative timelines, which created basically parallel universes. That's never happened before. But I do feel that Loki, I don't feel that happened in the MCU.
No, but the multiverse, if you go by the multiverse theory, every decision that you makes a branch. I mean, it's exactly what they explain in the sacred timeline. Every decision that you make is a branch in the sacred timeline. So, or is a branch, like if it's something against the thing, but there can't, like, as of right now, how it's been explained in Loki, there can't be a multiverse because everything is going on the set path. And if anything deviates, that's when the TVA comes in, pulls the variant out. They said, if you clock into work 1 minute late, you're a variant. Like, I'm pretty sure they don't, like, do that for every single thing, but it's just like it's almost too simple to make sense in the scheme of a multiverse. So that's why it's like there has to be a multiverse. Maybe the sacred timeline is the only multiverse that they know of, but as I said, with the multiverse theory, there's no way there's not a multiverse unless they go to every time Zam makes the decision to turn left, he could also make the decision to turn right. So every time there's a variant where he turns right instead of left, should the TVA come in and stop it? That's what I'm saying. This is why time travel is a hard thing to do, and it is good that they kind of simplified it in Endgame. That's why I'm kind of
They
happy.
simplified Endgame. They confused the fuck out of it in this show. That's for sure.
I thought they simplified it in Endgame, and now in the show they can just.
Yeah, they simplified it in Endgame to a degree. I like the spin they put on it. Like you can't change your current timeline. You only create new timelines. I like that.
Yeah,
I like
it's
that.
simple.
It's a good. It's a premises that's not really been done before. You know, you've had the Back to the Future rules. You've had the 12 Monkey rules, but not this version, which is good. You know. Sorry, I had yeah. One of the things I said to Bossman earlier was that when we saw all these new branching timelines being created after Sylvie did her bomb thing, I was thinking that when they got stuck on that planet and it's about to be destroyed at the end of this episode, I feel instead of the TVA just coming in last minute and saving them, I feel that their timeline is going to merge with another timeline, which possibly stops the destruction of that planet, possibly, you know, or something along those lines, or maybe the destruction never happens, you know, I don't know, but I just feel that there's going to be instead of them being rescued by the TVA or by Morbius, they're going to have merging timelines. Also, there's another thing that Loki might have not destroyed that time travel device.
I was thinking about that too.
It wasn't destroyed; like it's actually an illusion. Like he's tricking her.
Yeah,
like saying, "Look, this is the destroyed one." He's showing her that, but really he's got it fixed, and it's still in his back pocket somewhere.
I mean, you saw him create the fireworks right out of his hand. You know,
yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's like it wouldn't be much to like make an a broken copy of that TVA device. That's what I was thinking the whole time. I'm like, oh, okay, so at the last minute he's just gonna bust it out and save them both because he was hoping. I don't know, maybe he was hoping for. He had a change of heart. He was gonna leave her, and then he had a change of heart like at the last minute.
Does it piss you off that he struggles, but he's like he should be beating up human beings without breaking a sweat? You know, the sort of person that he is physically, he's far stronger than human beings, as well as the magic he possesses as well. The fact, so when you saw him fight those guards on the train, I'm thinking to myself, why are you struggling against these guys? You know, you should be able to, you should be able to flick him like that, and they go, yeah, they are human.
No, they're not. They're
was it Lumin, whatever it's called?
Yeah, they were from that race.
Lamentis. They were Lamentis, but I thought just that nothing about their appearance made them look
menacing.
You know, made them look like an alien.
Really?
You know, like these Guardians, they look 100% fucking human. You know what I mean? And these guys, they look like humans. They look like fucking those Guardians. I'm surprised we never really found out what they were. But yeah, fair enough.
And in regard to that, here's the thing. I grew up in the comic books with Loki. Loki in the comic books was not a super strong or fighter. Like he always got the crap beat out of him by everybody because he wasn't strong.
Yeah,
now I know they changed. I know they changed that in the MCU, and I understand that, and I get it. Like that's why I agree with you. He should have probably been able to just flick them and them fly out the window or whatever. But at the same time, it's not something I'm unaccustomed to.
No, but it bugs me to a degree because we saw Loki get smashed left, right, and center by the Hulk in Avengers Assemble. That's some serious durability to survive that. Yeah, you know what I mean. So if he's that strong with that much strength in him, then he should be like even if he's receiving a beating from the TVA, it should feel like nothing. Sorry, from the security guards, I just felt like it should be nothing from to him. But then again, you did say that those people are not human beings, so maybe it's a different. Maybe they have
a different muscle density, which would make them technically stronger.
Yeah, fair enough. That planet Lamentis, has it ever been in the in Marvel Comics before?
Not that I know of, but probably has. I'd have to look it up. I'll look it up while you guys keep talking. Give Bossman a chance to talk. We've been interrupting him.
No, it's fine. I was just going to say, well, the thing is that through this, well, I thought that the bit they had with that old lady at the start when Loki does his magic trick of being somebody else, going, oh, you have it, and then she just shoots it. It's just like, was that where the trick starts? It's just like And you kind of start to see that their partnership, as like every little thing happens, we see their partnership start to grow.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, she fell asleep, by the way, whilst Loki was on the train, and she was still alive to tell the tale. You could tell that Loki's trying to reach out to her. He's definitely offering an olive branch, but she doesn't necessarily want to take it. But she ends up trusting him to a degree, which is interesting. I
Because
don't know
I
when next
actually thought
episode.
he would have left her when she fell asleep. I really thought that he wouldn't be there.
I think it's not that straightforward. Like like if the scenario was outside of TVA and time travel, he probably would, but it's a bit more complicated now what's going on. And he probably needs to shed light on the situation. And obviously we need to find out what her end game is, because it wasn't really it wasn't revealed that much. I mean, we just thought I thought she was just being a bit of a trickster in episode 2, but I do feel there is an end game, and I do think that she's going to come across more heroic during the course of this show. And that, like I said before, the TVA, in my opinion, are still the bad guys. So I look forward to being proven wrong on that. I've some of my theories have come out correct. Some of them haven't. I mean, I generally thought Doctor Strange was going to show up. Go on.
Oh, I just want to let you know, I looked it up. So Lamentis, Lamentis 1, the only real appearance is the Lamentis Outworld was located at the very edge of the Kree, at the very edge of Kree space. And it was in the first appeared in Annihilation Conquest Prologue number 1, August 2007. So that's the only mention of a Lamentis in Marvel Comics. So it's just some random world I mean, they're both purple. I can see the picture of Lamentis in the comics. It's also purple, which was so. I mean, it's like just
some sort of mining colony. I heard it's a moon, or was it the moon that crashed into them?
No, the moon crashed into them.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, because Lament, and then it just has what just happened in the MCU. Lamentis is a habitable moon. Actually, no, it says a moon, habitable moon called Lamentis 1 that hosts a sizable population. In 2077, Lamentis broke up, and its fragments crashed into the moon, killing everyone on it. So I guess it was a moon-on-moon violence. I don't know. I mean,
so again, I think we might find out where Sylvie's comes from. Like towards the end, she'll her origins will be revealed. Like as I said, it could be that she was a variant where she was raised by different parents, and that's the reason that the TVA couldn't really get a bead on her, really. So
something must have happened though, like maybe when Steve Rogers was returning all the Infinity Stones, there were still little bumps in the road, because regardless of them trying to rectify everything, they didn't. Loki obviously disappeared. Young Steve Rogers was told that Bucky was alive. Howard Stark maybe had an interaction with Tony Stark, which made him a better father. Who knows? You know what I mean? What has happened? In order for this, and I can't wait for it to be revealed. Because at the moment I don't know, and that's what's so great about this. I really don't know, but we're halfway through this season already. With my opinion, with an episode which was full on character development, with no real story development other than the TVA being variants. They're still stuck on this planet. I look forward to seeing how they get off this planet.
So do you think that Mobius is a variant?
Yeah, all of them. They all are. Every single one of them, because that was revealed by Sylvie when she did the mind control, and we saw that TVA agent having a past. She was at some restaurant talking to Sylvie. We saw her history. She had a life before the TVA, which is going to be very interesting to see how that fulfills. I mean, maybe Sylvie, releases them from their memory wipe. It'd be fascinating if all the TVA agents realize, shit, I had a life before this, even though they're variants, and that could start a revolution. That would be amazing.
Well, and that's where also the multiverse could come in, because without being able to, without the TVA to stop variants, there's a multiverse.
Now, Kang the Conqueror has been spoken a lot. Now, this is a different kettle of fish to Mephisto, in my opinion, because Mephisto was strictly theory without anything to back it up. We do know that Kang the Conqueror will eventually be shown proper in Ant-Man 3. So, do you feel
which is a
that,
waste in my opinion? I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but I feel like Kang is a villain that needs to show up in something other than Ant-Man 3. Go ahead. Sorry.
he needs to be a recurring villain for sure? You know, like Loki and stuff. There's the argument to make that he's Thanos level. You know what I mean?
He is absolutely Thanos level. And honestly, I hope every time, if he is a reoccurring character, I hope that they jump around in the time, like not timeline, but like his timeline. Like, so like the first time we see Kang is like the oldest version of him that we've ever seen. And then like the second time is like the youngest. And then and it's like basically different. Like every time we see him, it's different points in his life. It's not just,
I think they're gonna make Kang like Ultron Loki level, in my opinion. I feel like he will be definitely the big bad for Ant-Man 3, but I also feel that there's a good chance he could still be a big bad for an earlier non-Endgame style Avengers movie. You know, for sure. I feel that. But we'll see. Like I do feel like it does make sense that he will show up in this show, but then again, I was so wrong about several things in WandaVision. You know, I was even wrong on a couple of things on Falcon and Winter Soldier. I expected Old Man Steve to show up at some point. That never happened. I expected Rhodey to be in his War Machine suit. That never happened. Even though we got Rhodey, but I knew Rhodey was going to be in there before I saw the show because I kind of got spoiled that at some particular point. I just want something big to come out of this, like not necessarily some grandiose finale, but definitely a super character of epic proportions. You know, like something to go, holy shit. You know what I mean? Something along those particular lines.
Well, I said that I think that it's probably going to lead to the multiverse of madness, as you were saying before, because once they establish that there's no secret timeline, we could have anything.
Oh, I'm glad I remembered this, but I did forget this earlier. We saw some of the telekinesis powers of Loki in the last episode, and we saw it today because when they were trying to go for the Ark spaceship, they were running away from all types of shit which was blowing up around them. At one point, a building almost fell on top of them, and Loki was able to push it back. Now, the theories are on that particular moment is that Loki had the time stone, because obviously there was a whole bunch of Infinity Stones in that drawer. Now, within the TVA offices, you can't do shit. But he wasn't in the TVA office. He was just on a regular planet. If he had the time stone, he might have been able to manipulate that building from falling on him, which is why it went back to where it is.
I think they would have made some kind of bigger deal out of it if that was the case. I think they would have. I think you would have seen some kind of green around his arm or something like that.
Well, we're not supposed to know until a little bit later, and then it gets revealed. You know, and then we look back at certain moments. Oh yeah, of course he had the time stone. He was able to do that. He was able to do that. You know, and maybe that's how they get off the planet as well. You know, they use the time stone and stop the Ark from being destroyed, and then they jump on it and get the fuck out of there. Who knows? And then by doing so, because the Ark was supposed to be destroyed, they end up creating another alternative timeline.
Well, they got plenty to choose from right now,
which is absolutely fascinating. My mind is going all over the place when it comes to understanding this show, and I do like it for being as fucking weird as it is, and it's got some phenomenal actors running this show as well, which is pretty good. But I just don't know where it's going to go, and I really hope Loki survives this, because he is a very end of the day. He's supposed to be, he shouldn't exist, but if he does, it'll be interesting to see where we go from all of this, and it'll be interesting to see who's behind the curtains. I want to know if the timekeepers truly exist, or they're just a myth. You know, is it really 3 people, or is it 1 person? It's going to be fascinating to know.
I think it's Barry from Legends of Tomorrow. That's who I think.
Possibly, but even there's a whole different bloody comic book, but nevertheless,
a different company.
Different company.
That's my apocalypse theory.
Oh, by the way, one of my customers is very much looking forward to a long Halloween review from me, Bobby. because
Okay.
he's a big Batman. He's a big Batman fan.
I've seen it.
Well, I own it. I mean, I can watch it, and we can do one here this weekend, maybe, or something.
I've seen it.
I do it with him because I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if I'll be able to finish watching. I'm still watching bloody Lost in Space season 2, which is
Your person wants you to watch it though. Like he wants your review of it, doesn't he?
I know. I told him that I have a friend of mine who's a Batman freak.
Well, I'll
Which
see
is
if I can
you.
get Ginger, because me and Ginger and Gary can do it, because Ginger normally likes doing the DC comic stuff.
I just feel like as much as I know about that stuff, I feel that I'll be I'll be like the bad nerd in the room who won't be able to fill in on certain things the way you guys can. I'll just watch it for what it is, but it would be nice if you three did it. But anyway, that's for another day. So that was Loki episode 3, a shorter episode, and hopefully the next couple of episodes will reveal a little bit more. Very purple this episode, Thanos feeling, that's for sure. With only one major revelation of the TVA being variants. Hopefully we'll get some more revelations next week as well, maybe as Loki and Loki getting it on. And I want them to have that incest kid so fucking badly too. You know what I mean? Please bring it on, some freak of nature with fucking 5 eyes and 4 arms, and yeah, that'll be fucking brilliant.
And then Megan would try to kill it in Resident Evil.
For sure. So before we wrap this up, anything more to say, fellas?
I just wanted to add, I'm a little, as this being the halfway point through the series, I'm a little disappointed. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I'm a little disappointed because I was expecting a little bit more, and maybe that's my fault. But I was expecting a little bit more from this show at this point, because I mean, really, all they've done is he went to the TVA. He got we all got the orientation of the time travel, sacred time. Okay, that's great. Second episode, we got his first mission. We found out where Lady Loki was or why she was, and yada yada. And this episode is just like, okay, now we're gonna get to the relatable villain, well, or hero, depending on how this series ends. But now it's just, and it's like, okay, this is like TV. Like these are supposed to be movies split up into parts. Falcon and the Winter Soldier for me felt like it was movies split into parts, or a movie split into parts, or maybe 2 movies. Who knows? I don't know. But this Loki just feels like it's like this hybrid. It has the issue that I think Mandalorian season 1 had, where it was like, it just came to a point where it was like, wow, this is a little underwhelming. Like, you know, because you really, I just don't feel like this is really hitting all the beats that I wanted it to. You know,
what did you want it to do?
I wanted to see more stuff that, I mean, they're supposed to be going through time and hunting down this Loki lady. I kind of wanted more of that rather than the buddy time travel with Lady Loki, will they, won't they, on themselves. You know, like I don't know. I feel like I want something a little. I mean, I like the idea of them hunting this Lady Loki. Them teaming up, not exactly what I wanted. It was fun for a little bit, while maybe like a half an episode, maybe it would have been fun. But this whole episode and going into the next episode, it's just those two together. And
it just, I just looked at this episode as Sylvie's episode. Like we got a lot of exposition in the first 2 episodes. Is bringing out this.
Yeah, we got more exposition in this episode for Lady Loki.
Yeah, but we needed to know who she is. That's why we never got any Morbius in this episode, because it was all about getting her feet wet within this show, and now we got her sorted out. We kind of get an idea who she is, and a little bit of a. Sorry, go on.
I kind of feel like halfway through this episode, Loki should have been back with the TVA. Like I feel like she should have. I feel like she on that planet, she should have betrayed him and left him, and then the TVA shows up and she left Loki and buggered off, and then left him, and then the TVA captured Loki again.
Buggered off, is that what you guys say in America nowadays, or you picked
buggered
it up from
off?
us?
Yeah,
you picked it up from me and
yeah, but I think
you guys.
I think that happens. He gets blown out of existence by the TVA.
That would be pretty cool. You know, like maybe they go back in time and just eliminate like a grandparent or like a great grandparent. Now you're never born, and that's how they deal with them.
No.
No.
Deal with who?
With the Lokis, both of them, but they're both variants.
No, they're not going to do
No?
that. No, they take the variant and they take out the variant itself. They don't go back and kill Hitler's kid or Hitler's dad or grandfather.
Do you think Sylvie's going to last the whole show? Will we see her again after this?
Yeah, oh yeah. We'll see her
So she's gonna live.
next week's episode for sure. I feel like she's going to be there till the end. There's only 6
She's-
episodes. Like that's what
There's
I'm
only
saying.
6 episodes, but you think she's going to last the distance, the whole season?
I think if she dies, it'll be in the last episode at the last moment.
I don't want to have some heroic death where she gives her life up for Loki. Or so. You know, you want people to stay in character, which is very important to me. No,
I think it would
mean,
be. I think it would be funny if Tom Hiddleston's Loki dies, and then the female Loki becomes our main Loki because they're because a lot of this stuff is passing the torch. Obviously, Falcon, getting the shield, like more official passing of the shield. To
Tom Hiddleston
Sam
is doing a second season of Loki.
Do we know that, or do we know they've announced the second season of Loki? So is Sylvie going to be the new Loki?
I think.
I mean, if Loki shows up on the set of Thor: Love and Thunder, we know he's going to make it. But I'm just saying, like, wouldn't that be kind of crazy if the variant Loki gets killed at the very end, and then Lady Loki takes over as Loki? She shows up in Thor: Love and Thunder.
I don't think that would be appreciated enough because
I don't think so either. But I just that's a possibility. That's what I was thinking.
We're talking about somebody who's been in the MCU for more than 10 years in Tom Hiddleston versus somebody new who's supposed to take his mantle and has only been in a handful of episodes. Actually, this is the first episode where we really got a decent amount from this person, even though we saw them on the previous episode. So it'll be interesting to see where we if they do use this person as a replacement, how will the MCU take it? Because I wouldn't want her to get any grief and hate because fanboys are stupid, but I personally wouldn't want her to be the new Loki. Not that for damn sure. Not until she's earned her stripes, been in a few movies, stuff like that. Really establish yourself the same way Sam Wilson did. You know what I mean? He earned his stripes, and then he got his own show. We knew him pretty well.
But do you think she can earn her stripes by the end of this show?
It's not enough time, dude, because this was the first episode where we got to see anything from her.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, do you think she could earn her stripes by the end of this season to be? Because I mean, what did Loki have? Loki had Thor, then he got thrusted into Avengers. Like, I mean, it's not like Loki had a lot of time to ferment. I mean, he was established in Thor, and then he made his killing in the Avengers, and that's when he became a household. Like, he wasn't a household name in Thor. He was a household name in Avengers.
He was the big bad in Avengers.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying.
But he had moments which has stuck with him, like the way like Hulk using him, as a fly swatter on the floor by whacking him left and right. Those things establish you. Like he was in in the Dark World. He has a character arc where he ended up trying to be a good guy, but still he's Loki, so he ends up taking over his dad. In the third one, in Ragnarok, some amazing character, but it was good character development for Loki in that he was one of the major players in that film, and we saw a moment where Thor ended up getting the Hulk treatment the same way he did, and how he responded to that. I fucking love that shit. And then he's also in other Avengers movies as well, because he was in Infinity War, he was in Endgame. He's been in a lot of shit, even if there were small roles in those Avengers.
I would say glorified cameos, but I agree.
But you feel his presence, overall, in this show. And so, excuse me, like when young Captain America thought that our Steve Rogers from 2022 or 2023 was Loki. Yeah, things like that. His presence is there. You get me. So this Loki variant, her presence needs to be there, intertwined in other things. And if that happens, then I'm happy for her to take over from Tom Hiddleston. But until then, it won't feel right. But anyway, I think we've gone on about that too much. Anything more to say, fellas, before we wrap this up?
Nope.
No? Okay.
I think Gary's sleeping.
I'm
Nope.
sorry, Gary. I apologize,
No.
mate. We've been.
It's just been a little day, sorry.
I totally agree. Well, this has been a fascinating talk. I look forward to the next one. Any wrestling shows coming up in this week?
Not
Any
that I know of.
documentaries, you know?
I rely on you guys for that one.
I rely on Shredder for that one, to tell you the truth. He's
Let
our
me have a
wrestling
look.
dude.
I'll look, see. What's it? Vice, Wrestling.
Well, we can wrap and talk afterwards.
Yeah. I'll wrap this up and we can talk about it afterwards. But yes, thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube. We're the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of, and we're always throwing out content, making our name, making our mark, not just relying on bullshit. You'll fucking get good shit from us. The good shit. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day. See you guys later. Bye bye.